Welcome to the Newfoundland Land. It's myself, Michael Winsor, host, and co-host Corey Babstock is here with me again today. Today we're going to be talking about more of the west coast of Newfoundland, how amazing it is over there. We had some listener ask for a request to do more about the west coast of Newfoundland, so that's our plan for today. And we're going to talk about some of the places to eat around here, all over Newfoundland really, what you can expect to eat. As we had some people call them, what are just if we have seafood only, but no, we have pretty much everything.
Why would you want anything else, though?
Yeah. So before we get into that, Corey, how was your last couple of weeks since our last podcast?
It's been pretty good. We've, of course, the whole island's been buried in snow the last couple of weeks. So that's been fun. We've not been as bad as you fellas in St. John's for that, but went in and saw our hockey team, the Newfoundland Regiment, first time this year. Yeah, out here. That was a good experience, but came away with really bad cold, so I'm just getting over that. So if I'm doing a little bit of coughing and sniffling while we're talking, just the after effects of that flu or cold, whatever the heck it was. Yourself, how you been?
Oh, good, for sure. I know there's been a cold going around here, and of course the snow has been kept going and going. We had some rain today. So I think it's getting a good.
Yeah, we got a little bit of that here too.
So
I was funny. So it's on my podcast. There's a fella. He's in the States and he reacts to Canadian content. Like he says, I'm just an average American guy, and today I'm going to react to whatever the video is. He reacted to the snow in Newfoundland just a couple of days ago on his YouTube channel. And he was terrified. He was like, they were showing pictures of, tunnels going into people's back doors and cars completely drifted over. And he was like, why would you live there?
Yeah, it was fun. Well, that kind of leads to, a couple of weeks ago, we had a big snowstorm. After the big snowstorm, I went into the woods just for a snowshoe. And me and my boys, and it was absolutely amazing. And it was like a winter wonderland.
Your photo.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Everything is completely white, and you see it looking right down the trail. It was pretty spectacular.
It looked like everything was wrapped in cotton balls. Like every tree had the big clumps of snow. It was a beautiful photo.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And even last night, a couple of nights ago, Friday night actually, I went out to Greenpoint Lighthouse, and it was really cold and windy, but had the sun setting, and there was no clouds. Yeah. And the pink skies and stuff. I have it actually on my Instagram too, the video of being there.
Yeah, I literally just watched the video this morning, the reel from that, yeah.
But yeah, that's one of my favorite lighthouses for taking pictures of. It's just where you got the rocks. When you go to Port of Grave, there's a lighthouse on an intersection. So basically you take left, there's a gravel road, you go right out to the end. Right. And yeah, out there it's good because they got the rocks right behind the lighthouses too. So when you do the long exposure, it looks amazing in my mind.
Yeah, and the sun looks like the sunset's right behind it there too, right? So
yeah, just nice light on the little lighthouse, and the lighthouse is white and red, like stripes and stuff. It's not like a really big building; it's just basic, but cool.
Yeah, nice segue, and Michael, into our West Coast talk that we're going to have, because one of my favorite lighthouses to photograph is and I've only done it once, but it's already a favorite. I can't wait to get back there again. It's the one at Port of Choix on the west coast there, on the Northern Peninsula. Beautiful, because you got that nice, I think the rocks are all like the lava rocks. You got all that really nice texture, and there's always pools of sitting water in the gaps of the rocks, so you get a reflection of the lighthouse. Beautiful sky. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous spot.
Yeah, I like it as well. And Port of Choix is a good spot to go, of course, for caribou. There's a
I didn't see one.
You didn't see one last year up there?
Lots of foxes, no caribou.
Last time I was up there, it was really good. They had a nice sunset there, and the caribou was around, and the big stags was there with the big old antlers and stuff. It was really cool. And of course, the foxes was there as well. And the lighthouse, of course. But yeah, it's a really good spot over on the West Coast for anyone wanting to take pictures of caribou. I know if you could go up the west coast up by Western Brook Pond. Sometimes you'll find them on the bog as well,
Yeah.
but they're far away. I remember one winter I was driving up there and I saw them out on the, I was winter. So I tried to get out there with my boots on, and I would come. Time I got back, I was just soaking with all the snow on the boot, everything.
Right.
But yeah, I find the best place for that is definitely Port of Swall. Hopefully they're there. They're not guaranteed like any wildlife, but
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, that's and everybody I've spoken to when I say I went down to Port of Swall and I spent, down for 2 or 3 hours or longer, and like just around the lighthouse and in that area, never saw a thing. And everybody I've spoken to is like, "Boy, you have no luck because you normally almost got to push them out of the way to get down the road." There's, I said, yeah, that's typical. Now we ran into them. Luck paid off the opposite side because we were at Cape St. Mary's there on the Avalon Peninsula, and photographed again. It's early in the morning, and when we came back, there was a herd of caribou right in the middle of the road going out to Cape St. Mary's. And you always hear that they're down there, but you very rarely see them. And same thing, you have beautiful like stag with a huge rack. And it was cold that morning, so you could see their breath. It was really cool. But you're right, the wildlife, you never know. I drive down the road anywhere here in Newfoundland, see caribou at any given time. You don't know.
The only places I saw caribou, I saw them on Fogo Island over there. It's come across the road there one time, but I think they got a small little herd over there. And the other place I saw was down in Burgeo. I was over
There's
there, and there's quite a few over there actually.
I don't know if you knew this or not, but there's a small herd on the Bonavista Vista Peninsula down around Tickle Cove area.
Oh, okay.
I've not seen them there yet, but I've seen photos of them. Small herd, probably about 15, 20 head. And they'll show up down at Tickle Cove every now and then. My friend down there, whose parents are from there, he's got a handful of photos of them, right on the road in the town of Tickle Cove.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know there was anything there. But that caribou is pretty cool to take a picture of. And when I was out in Port of Swall, back to the West Coast again, is that when I took a picture of that sunset that evening, the day before I went out there, it was really foggy. And yes, they were on the road. They're actually on the road fighting with their antlers and stuff. I got some video of it. So they're actually right on the road. So hopefully, like I said, over there, I think actually it's protected as a park out there too. So no one actually go out there and shoot them or anything. So
right. Good. Yeah. Yeah. Well, shoot them the way we shoot, right?
Pictures, camera, but not with a gun, eh?
Yeah.
And I think last time I was out there too, during that time for sunset, there was a moose because further back there's a tree line there, and there was a moose that came out as well, and that was quite a distance getting pictures. But I'm hoping this year we'll get some more exploring and find some moose over that way too.
Yeah, moose are. We've talked about this in our podcast before. For something that's so many of them. Man, to get that really good money shot, that photo, it's a challenge. Certainly on my bucket list.
Oh yeah, me too. Absolutely. I think this September I'm gonna go in the woods for a week and see if I could get a sensible with a moose collar and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I was saying like as if you were actually hunting them, but on with the camera and said.
I said I'll bring my father with me. He's a moose hunter, so.
Oh, your father, man. He everywhere we go, he'll look out across and he'll say, "Oh, that's good moose country there, boy. Should see a moose here. We sit there for a minute now, we'll see a moose."
For sure.
Good fella.
So this the caribou over in Port of Swall. So actually, we did I just posted a new photography tour for Fall Colors, and that's the one over on the West Coast. So it's October the 7th to the 12th, and it got all kinds of things in there, everything West Coast involved. So Port of Swall is actually one of them. That's the end of the tour, but other places will do as well. Like you got the bald eagles over there and the landscape over there,
which is that's a tour I mean, I have not gone it with that gentleman yet for the bald eagles. And as you know, I mean, bald eagles are probably my favorite bird to photograph. I'm really looking forward to getting over there and getting out with him. The shots you got of the eagles skimming the water with their talons out, that's the shot I want. So
Capture the beauty of wildlife, icebergs, and incredible landscapes through your own camera lens. With expert instruction, workshops, guided tours, and more. Newfoundland Photo Tours. Book your experience today.
A couple of things about that. So one, Cox Cove is the place where we like to go. It's a little small town. It's down in the valley, and it's got to go out of your way to get there. But in the fall, when the fall colors are around, and you're out in a boat and you get the reflection, it's absolutely one of my favorite places to ever be. So beautiful. And they got the big mountain ranges and the rocks over in the cliffs, and you can just see it, just a perfect reflection. And in the morning with the sun coming up, it's so amazing.
yeah, West Coast is in the fall is absolutely magical. Like, I'm lucky here in Clarenville's pretty good. My area is really good for the fall as well. We got a lot of really nice colors here. But you get excited about the colors here, and then you drive over to the West Coast, and you're like, whoa, it's like a completely different ballgame. And everywhere you go over there, like the city of Corner Brook itself even is absolutely gorgeous to shoot in the fall. It's just blanketed in color.
Even in the park in Corner Brook is nice. But so when you're over in Cox Cove and you're out in the boat and you feel the heat come out with the sun the first thing in the morning, it hit your face, and the smell of the salt water is wow. And then all of a sudden, let's go for it now. And then you look up and there's bald eagles on the cliff, and you're there just fishing, because basically we're fishing for ocean perch and stuff. So you're just kind of waiting, and then all of a sudden you see the bald eagle flying over, and you got the backdrop of the orange and red maples stuff.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
And sometimes they'll make their call as well, loud. It's just pretty cool. It's like no other place you want to be. It's just magic. I didn't get a chance to go last year because I was doing the Northwest Passage, but this year now it's going to be.
So just that Eagle tour, the one that you do from out of Cox Cove, is that like that's a regular thing, right? Like he offers that year round, or is that just fall of the year?
As year round as well, yeah. So yeah. But yeah, so like I said, Cox Cove is amazing. If you don't go for eagles and you just want to go and see the place, I think it's one of those little places that's hidden away on the island that's not advertised very much, and I think some of the locals like it that way. And you also have their dories. They got a certain type of dories that you will use over there. They're orange and they're more of a flat, dory, but they're bigger, and often even pretty cool.
That was a big thing I noticed, because we're going to talk about another place on the West Coast that's a really nice photography experience too, is Bottle Cove. And the road to Bottle Cove, of course, you're going through a lot of these little fishing communities, and they all have the little slipways and wharfs and everything. And those orange dories, that's one of the things, my first trip, they really jumped out at me, were the number of them and how interesting they are to photograph, especially in the fall, because you get that orange dory picking up the same colors that are in the hills. So it's that nice, really, really gorgeous. And Bottle Cove itself is, the sunset out there is, one of the nicest on the island that I've photographed.
Oh, absolutely. It's funny you say that too. Like in Newfoundland, we're all on one island, but you don't see those orange dories anywhere besides over there in that little area of the West Coast, like Cox
100%.
Cove and going to the Bottle Cove. Like there's a lot of those orange dories, but you go other places, just your basic punt and stuff.
And
like
it really catches your eye too, especially like I say, if you're not used to seeing it, you're driving along and it's like orange. And it was amazing.
Yeah, they're really good for a picture for sure. Yeah. And a Bottle Cove, like you said, you got the sunset. Like on our website, the picture I have there, it's the sunset right in Bottle Cove. You go up on this hill and shoot down over. That's a beautiful spot.
Yeah, gorgeous. And the whole drive out there, because there's a really nice mountain. And the day I drove out there was that low hanging mist right at just slightly obscuring the mountaintops, and you had beautiful fall colors coming there. That whole stretch from Corner Brook out to Bottle Cove, and it's not that long. What is it, like half-hour drive from Corner Brook, 45 minutes maybe?
Yeah, and it's really nice to stay.
Gorgeous. Yeah, well worth the drive. You can spend a day just going out to Bottle Cove and back and stopping along the way.
Yeah. It's funny, like we talk about wildlife and we can't guarantee anything, but the last a couple times ago, I was driving out to Pataco, and I was driving by, and I looked down, and there was a bird outside the road, which of course, you got to stop and see
Yeah.
what it was. And it was a ptarmigan that was there, and it was they're friendly anyway. So I
Yeah.
got out, and they didn't fly away. And I got down, I kicked down on the other side of the road, and it was there just posing for me for the longest time, just me and him there for like 10 minutes. And then bored with me, then they just went away. You never know what you're.
Ptarmigan and grouse are like that. I mean, a spruce grouse will just, I mean, you can almost walk up and pose them yourself. Don't stay and let you do what you want with them, right? But same kind of thing, to stay around, stick around. You're right. You never know. You're driving down the road, and all of a sudden, like it happened to me, the West Coast, I'm a bird inside the road. Going through Terranova National Park. I was going up to Ochre Hill, which is a really nice lookout. And on the side of the road, there was a grouse and 3 of her chicks just on the side of the road. And they, same thing, stopped 10 or 15 minutes and took photos. What was cool for that experience was the park truck, one of the wardens was coming down the hill, and he kind of stopped and got out of the truck. And because I was out there, I was lying down taking pictures of the grouse. I said, oh, he's going to probably say something to me now. He said, well, do you want me to go down and keep traffic from coming up the other way so you can get your shots in? it's so cool.
Like I said, you never know what you're going to see on our trips. And we get surprised many times. But just back to Balaco, for anyone, like I said, that they are listening, they can't actually see the picture. Just to explain, so Balaco, you go up, you're on the right side. You get up on the hill and you're looking down over, and then there's this peninsula that kind of leads out to the other side. But then there's a harbor that comes in. But then on the other side of it, you got these big cliffs, and there's a little cave there as well. And then there's a bigger cliff mountain than behind that, and then there's another mountain. And when the light comes in and just hits all like the shadows and the highlights, and of course you put on an ND filter or you slow down the shutter speed, and you'll get the water and stuff moving around the rocks as well. It's a really
isn't it? Yeah, it's first time when I was scouting the West Coast, I was going over for business, and while I was there, I wanted to do some photos. That was the place that kept coming up. Like, you get a bunch of other suggestions, but everybody said, well, you got to go to Balaco. And there's a reason for that. It's absolutely gorgeous.
If you're over there, like I said, that way, then you're a landscape photographer at all, that's definitely one of the best landscape images that you can capture on the island, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, 100%. And of course, we've talked about the West Coast. We haven't even mentioned Gros Morne National Park yet.
No, that's
briefly. We're talking about Caribou, but I mean,
it's funny because that's on the itinerary, and like I said, for that tour that's booked on in the fall, kind of we're going backwards. So we start with Port de Soie, now we're at Balaco, and we just mentioned the foxes and Cox Cove.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even when you're going up to Western Brook Pond, or past it, actually, if you go past that, there's a place called the Arches. So between the Western Brook Pond and Port de Soie, there's another little park there called the Arches. And there's 2 really big arches that you can shoot through. And that's a pretty spectacular spot for photography as well.
You really want a wide angle lens there, though. It's a challenging because it is it is a long structure, and it's fairly close to the shore. I found once you get the shot, it's amazing, but it really helps to have a wide angle there to capture the whole structure in, if that's what you want in your shot.
Absolutely. And you need definitely like a 16 to 35, like that, or because I want to, like I said, for a 24-105. And sometimes when the waves are coming in, it'll actually create a bank of little pebble rocks. They're too high, so you can't go back and photograph it. So you got no option to get a wide angle, really.
Yeah, so I have a 10 to 22 that I bought for mostly for astrophotography, but that one comes in really handy those types of situations.
So that's the that's the Arches, and then that's a pretty cool spot.
Yeah.
But so in Gros Morne National Park itself, like you said, that's a beautiful spot. Any time of the year, you're looking at I always say my two favorite places is the Bonavista Vista Peninsula and Gros Morne over that way.
Yeah.
All Newfoundland is awesome, like Cape St. Mary's, all around St. John's. But I want to go over there. It's pretty cool too.
Yeah, because you've got everything in Gros Morne. You got a really good chance for wildlife, like you said, with the caribou and moose and foxes and the birds and everything. In the fall, you got that foliage, but then you have the impressive. We call them mountains here in Newfoundland. If somebody from BC will scoff it, they'll call them the mountain. But to us, they're very dramatic. You get that low-hanging clouds over the top. Then you got all these small fishing communities just dotted through the park, and every single one of those communities, there's something to photograph there of interest. Either the coastal stuff or lighthouses or old stages. Then you've got the geology, the arches. It's just, if you were going to, I think a lot of people get hung up and come to Newfoundland. Of course, yes, do St. John's and the East Coast. Gorgeous. But I think the trap, and this is just advice to anybody who's planning a trip, is that people think they could do the East Coast and then probably take a day or two and do the West Coast. And, I guess that's better than not doing it at all. But the West Coast really deserves its own, you want a good chunk of time over there because
you need a week over there in my mind at least.
Yeah.
That's just touching the surface really.
Right.
But
the distances are far more vast, I think, than people realize until they get here. Like, you want to go to St. John's and then you want to go to Twilligate and then you want to do the West Coast, and people are trying to squeeze all that into a 7-day trip, and that's a lot of, yeah.
So the good thing about the fall tour, like I said, is that you actually can fly into Deer Lake, so you're over there, so you don't have to drive across the island for 10 hours to get across. You just fly in there, you just start from there. So that's the good thing about it. But yeah, definitely, like I said, you need a bit of time over there, like you said, 5 or 6 days. And then especially, we know where to go, so we don't have to wander. We could just go directly where we need to go. But so like over there, for example, you got the Tablelands.
Yeah.
That is amazing spot. You could walk up there. It's a 2-kilometer walk to get to the bottom of it. It's just a little grade. It's not hard to walk, but it's really cool. And for anyone that's geologists, when it comes to the Tablelands, it's only one of the few places in the world where the actual Earth's mantle is up through the crush of the Earth.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, you got that part of it, and it's just the way it catches the light and everything. For photographs, is just otherworldly. Like it's a very special spot, very special spot. And the first time I went over there as a photographer was just 2 or 3 years ago. And I've been there before, but saw I think it with a different eye now than when I went over there when I was younger. And everywhere you go, and every turn in the road, like there's whoa. It's just absolutely amazing.
Even shooting down the road next to the Tablelands, because you got the Tablelands that's orange on the left side, and then you got the greenery on the right side, and you got one big long straight stretch going there, and even that spot was cool.
It's just fantastic. And we haven't even, Port of Choix is pretty much where we stop for our tours when it comes to the West Coast. But if you're going on your own, you can go on up the Northern Peninsula, up to St. Anthony, and up to, Lansing Meadows where the Viking settlement is. And again, a completely different world. It's amazing.
Yes. And like I said, you'd need another 4 or 5 days, or 3 or 4 at least up around that way, just to pick up the Northern Peninsula.
You could pop the ferry across the Labrador and give yourself another week or so.
Run into Battle Harbor.
Yeah.
So the Tablelands, this is one of the stories, is that myself and my wife hiked the Tablelands there a few years ago.
Yeah.
And it's the oddest thing. So it's, I don't know how many kilometers, it's a lot, it's all day to hike up the valley, across the top, and then back down the little bowl that's there. So we hiked up, and it's a huge spot. But the funny thing is, we stopped and sat down on some rocks to take a break one time. And I looked down and I found a toonie, a $2 coin. So of all the rocks, like the whole thing is just hot and rocks the whole day, right? So whatever it was, that one person dropped a toonie on the same rock that I was actually sat down on. There's a toonie up here and there's nothing else. There's no garbage at all. But there's just a $2 coin that was there. course, it took a long run down.
And you say, did that get you a coffee after or what?
I sure would have did with it, but anyway, it's one of those things that kind of like the chances are pretty slim.
Yeah, very cool.
But from the
You've
top too,
gone
it's
up
pretty
there.
cool.
You've done that on snowmobile as well, haven't you? To the top
Oh,
of
so that's the Tableland.
You're right.
I think you could do it in the winter, but I'm 100% sure. But what you're talking about is the Western Brook Pond. So that's the
Right.
other side. But just before we move over to that side, I just want to talk about one of the, like I said, Cox Cove is a place that's not seen very well or not known very
Yep.
well. The other place is Trout River. That place is pretty spectacular when
Yeah.
it comes to pictures. So if you go over in nighttime, it's like dark skies for stars. And if you go in August, you get the meteor shower, of course. But the other thing too, they got a nice river there, and you get reflections of the colors, and they got a mountain over it that looks like an elephant. But that's pretty fun. See if you can
Trout
find it.
River's really
Yeah.
special. Yeah.
And so in Trout River itself, there's a beach there, and there's a little restaurant right on the beach. And the beach itself is pretty cool. And that's the place a few years ago when a blue whale washed up on the beach.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the one that they took it apart and sent it to
Yep.
Ontario, got it all done, and now it's sitting in the university. in
Science
Mon-
Center.
The Science Center.
At
that's
the
right.
new Science Center. Yeah. In the lobby. Yeah. Really cool.
So that's where it washed up to. But talking about eating that we're going to talk about is that if you're looking for the best buns or rolls,
Yeah.
that is my favorite in all the island. It just melts in your mouth. It's so delicious.
They have a bakery in the restaurant.
I know it's called the Seaside Restaurant. And it's all like,
Okay.
ice cream cones and your typical Newfoundland food. But their buns and rolls are absolutely just worth going over there, not even for pictures, just for their rolls. They're so good. Especially when they
Add
come out
that
in
to
the
the list for the
warm.
fall.
When they come out warm and with butter, they're good.
Oh
The only
boy.
other place I find Battle Harbor, they got really good buns up there as well.
Take a tour through this land's incredible vistas, wildlife, and your own creativity with an immersive guided photography tour. Get that perfect shot. Newfoundland Photo Tours. Book your tour today.
Yeah, so when it comes to the Western Brook Pond, you can, like you said, go in there on snowmobile.
Yeah.
It takes about 3 hours to get in there in the wintertime. And it's an amazing trip. Actually, I plan on going this week coming up, depending on the weather and stuff. But we'll see how it goes.
Cool. That'd be cool. You just yourself and your father go with you, or?
Yeah, drags the old man with me.
Yeah,
But
back
he's
up.
more into it now. Oh, yeah, but he's into it. But we got a guide to go in there because you need to go in there so you don't get lost.
I noticed there was a guy posted he got caught up in a little bit of an avalanche over there.
Oh, yeah? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he same on the country snow, and snow came down, kind of buried his machine. You can see the photo he had. There's two skis, and all you can see poking up in the top is his two skis in the machine. He was okay, but he was stressing. He was a guide from the area, and he was stressing, just how important it is to have a guide when you're over there, because if you don't know the country, it can be a bit dangerous, right?
Oh, yes, for sure. And I do know that there's some people that goes on a snowmobile and we'll be just going over there and back, but some people like to have fun on it. They'll go up the
I
side
know
of the
what you mean.
mountain and
Yeah,
they'll play with the snow and stuff. So sometimes it might be self-inflicted as well. I'm not saying that's what happened in that case.
Yeah.
But I do see
Oh,
those
yeah.
people that likes to have fun.
And absolutely, just know the risks. That's all.
For sure. But yeah, you can hike up there too in the summertime in Western Brook.
Yeah.
And I did it twice. I did it once with my wife. So you start early in the morning, you can hike up there and have a little snack, and then you hike back down. It's all day.
Yeah.
It's like supper time to get back down. Or I did it, well, like you say, with my dad a couple of years ago. No, probably 10 years ago now, actually. And we stayed overnight for 2 nights in the tent. And
Yeah.
that was all right. but
You
it's a
get
long
a
hike.
really nice photo of that, actually. I believe, do you not? Where the tent's all lit up from the inside?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny, because I did that years ago when I think I had used my Canon 5D Mark I or something. It was like and I
Long
kind of
time
like to
ago.
go back
Yes.
there again. You learn a lot when it comes to exposure and all that stuff too. So I'd love to go back
Oh,
and do
yeah.
it again. But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
quite
it's funny you
but
say that
that's
because
fine.
I just got on my computer, I got a new software program called Xire, and it helps you organize all your photos, like everything. It'll compile it all into one database, searchable
Okay.
database, which is really cool. You type in like puffins in flight, and it'll give you every single puffin in flight that you have. And then you can search it either raw or JPEG. But my point is, I did that, and I'm still in the process because, as you know from your own experience, hundreds of thousands of photos over the last few years. But you look back at photos that you took 4 or 5 years ago or longer, and at the time you say, "Well, that was a real banger." And you look at it in time, like, "Oh wow, that's awesome." Now you look at it and say, "Well, geez, I could have done this here, or I could have done this different, or I could have used this setting." It's just a constant evolution, right?
And I don't know, and that's a lot of photographers, but I guess myself too is like, no matter how you take the picture, and it could be the most amazing picture in the world, it's always actually turn 15 degrees more to the left when I took the picture would have been better, or I'm just so particular of trying to get the exact perfect shot, which is really no such thing as perfect shot, I don't think.
No, no, and I get into that all the time too. Like, you rode on and I know we're straying a bit from the West Coast stuff, but you get it on the puffin column, you know. And I always say every time I go, I'm not taking any more photos of puffin standing on rocks, man. I got 100,000 photos of a puffin standing on a rock. The minute I get out there, yeah,
Yeah, there's the cutest little bird. Like I said, it's amazing. They don't have, I
and
don't
it's
think, any
not.
puffin. I don't know of any place
No,
on the West Coast where they have puffin.
no, no.
The furthest west is probably in um, no, I think they might have some up in Northern Peninsula though. I'm not 100% sure, but I think there were some islands
I
out there that
don't
had
know.
some.
There's some. I think there's some on islands off of Fogo Island, like when you get up around the Funk Islands, that area.
Yeah, Little Fogo Island, there's some out there actually. That's right. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
yeah, so that's further west than Bonavista. Vista.
yeah. Well, you're right. I mean, on the West Coast itself, there's seabirds. I mean, there's seabirds out there, but it's not as prevalent as the East Coast and then the Southern Avalon, that area.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Now, of course, for birds over there, you would have your typical types of gulls, and you'll get your
Yeah,
shags or
see a lot of
cormorants,
shags. Yeah. Lots of
also known
ducks
as
too. There's a lot
cormorants.
of yeah.
There's ducks. I saw a blue heron over there. I think the last time I was over there, just the one. You can get good pictures with far, and it was
Roy Valley gets herons sometimes. Not semi-regular anyway, but that's
yeah.
a bit further west, of course.
Yeah. I heard you get hummingbirds over there too on the West Coast. I never saw any,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Again, Cadroy Valley, you get some vagrants in there, and I mean, anywhere on the island, it's going to be good for hummingbirds in Cadroy Valley. So
yeah, yeah. That's a nice spot. They got a nice lighthouse over there too.
yeah.
I got a couple pictures of them years ago.
My
So,
favorite lighthouse on the islands, the extreme west coast, is it Roseland? Just down around Port Bass, that old stone lighthouse. Is it
that's a pretty cool
Rosebranch?
one. It is,
Yeah,
yeah, Rose
yeah,
Branch.
beautiful spot. Yeah,
It's crazy. Like we're sitting here talking about the West Coast, but usually we're talking a lot about the East Coast with the puffins and whales and stuff. They do have
yeah,
whales on the West Coast, uh, but there's just so many places in Newfoundland to visit. As I was thinking, is one of these years when I retire or whatever that means, is that I like take a whole summer, get a van, and just go and live
yep.
from place to place and travel all over little small communities myself. You know what I mean? It's just like there's so many places to visit. It's just crazy.
Learn how to capture the best images and develop your camera skills with workshops held in Newfoundland and Labrador's most inspiring natural landscapes. Newfoundland Photo Tours. Book your workshop today.
I know, and I want to. We haven't even. I want to do, and I think you've done it. The Southern Shore boat hop, like into Ramia and all that coastal line where you
Yeah.
can't get in there only by boat or by helicopter.
Yeah. So you go down there, there's Grey River, and there's Francois. whatever
Francois,
his
yeah.
name is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people in France, Francois, so they pronounce it Francois. They got a sign down
Yeah.
there called, even though it's French, it's Francois. But in
Yeah.
the town, there's a little sign there. They got it spelled Fransway.
Yeah. This
Just
is the
the
way we
locals got
pronounce it
that
down
put
here.
there. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, that down there is cool. And that's a 4-hour ferry ride just to get there. And the funniest thing about that community is that there's probably only 80 people that lives there. It's a 4-hour boat ride. And on the weekends, they all leave and go to the cabin to a different cove. So the population
Right.
on Sundays goes down to 20 people. And
It is so funny you say that. No, like they're out there,
and
they're living in what you would think of as a nice
getaway.
little cottage type country anyway. And they too busy here, Francois. I got to get away from here for a couple of days.
So they all goes over to the cabin, right? It's just funny.
Still funny. But you're right, though. I mean, get back to your point about, we primarily were talking about the West Coast, but Lord above, man, there's just so many little treasures right across the island, like from one end to the other. And I've been, 55 years here in Newfoundland now, and I haven't gone everywhere, not even close. It's amazing when you think, the island's huge. Like the geographical distances are huge, and you got to spend so much time getting from one spot to another, but there's just so much to see in between those points.
And like you're driving around, like, I've been pretty much everywhere. I'm sure there's some small community that I haven't been. I like to go and run by myself. I drive every little small community, and just turn. Take the turn. I was like, "Whoa, that's pretty cool!" And then next thing you know, there's a picture there, or just
basically when you see this side road.
Yeah.
So basically when you see this side road, you say, "Oh, there," and you go down, and all of a sudden it's like something opens up in front of you, like this big vista. It's like, whoa.
Talk about side roads. This is a story. Just crazy. So I was over to the Eagles first thing in the morning, and I'm going to go back to Cornerbrook. So the person that runs the boat tour, he said, if you just go up that gravel road there, because I went to check out the waterfalls, if you take the gravel road, you could end up Cornerbrook because I had 5-10 minutes. I said, okay, cool. I'll give it a shot. So I went to the gravel road after the waterfalls, which is well hidden. And I was driving. And next thing I just want to say, I got lost. And I was in the woods, and the GPS on my phone couldn't really tell where I was to. So honestly, I spent, I'm sure, about 4 hours in the woods. And over there, they used to be for the lumber, like different all kinds of roads and stuff. So the gravel roads, there's a network of almost like New York City. There's just so many roads in there.
Right.
Just going back and forth.
Work over there.
Oh, yes. And I didn't know. And I didn't know where I was going. So basically, I drive so far. And then I was like, I see a whole bridge there. And I used to get out and check the bridge and see if it was safe enough to drive across. Because a lot of snowmobiles in there in the wintertime and stuff as well. So sometimes I come to some bridges and I'll see those yellow tape put across. And I said, probably not. So I turn around and come back again. But lucky enough, I had a full tank of gas when I started. And then I had a case of water and I had a jar of peanut butter and a loaf of bread. So it was good for a while.
Perfect. You were good. Could be there for days.
Yeah. I always said if my wife or somebody was with me then, I think it would have been a divorce because I was just going around and around. But I saw one person on there and they actually just killed their moose. And so I just asked them, like, how do I get out of this place? So they pointed me in a direction. So when I came out, for anyone that don't know, I started in Cox Cove. And when I ended over by around the jack ladder. So I went right on through the woods all around. And I was like 4 hours in the woods. So so Newfoundland is a big place. Even when you're not on the highway, it was interesting. It was a memory and a story as well. But
we won't include that as part of the tour package, though.
No, there's nothing to get lost. We can help you there as well.
No problem there.
Well, so that's one place, like I said, not many people have been.
Is that where the title of your book came from?
Lost in Newfoundland.
Yeah.
But the Lost in Newfoundland really is more of lost in the beauty of it rather than lost in by location.
Yeah.
That's the whole point around the comfort.
So
But I see your point.
you're probably, just so people know too, mention it. You've got some exciting news coming out on that point. Your second book is it off the presses now? Is it pretty close to off the presses?
It's sent to the presses. All the work has been done. That was volume 2.
Awesome.
And we got a puffin and the cover. So that's always a winner. And then you see a puffin on
Yeah.
anything in Newfoundland. That's good. But yeah, so we'll be in the May and the spring. And like I said, when it gets closer,
Awesome.
then I'll probably mention it more. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
pretty
no,
cool.
I'm excited. Your first edition is in my bookshelf, on my top shelf where all the good books are. So you're not on the bottom shelf where I got all the ugly books right up there
Oh,
top. So I'm looking forward to adding the second one there. But it's good.
that's good. Thank you. Well, like you said, like when it comes to taking pictures, like the first book was the first probably, I would say 10 years of taking pictures. And just, and then since then, probably another 6 years for the second book.
Mm.
And you just get better with practice, no matter if you're playing hockey or doing math or whatever, you just get better.
Anything, yeah.
So I really think this one, I know I'm biased as well, is even better than the first one when it comes to pictures and stuff.
In the same format, same size.
Same everything, yeah. Just volume 2
Okay.
with just the color. So yeah, so I'm
Awesome.
looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm looking forward to it too. I always, and that's one thing, I don't know if you do the same, but you're not trying to imitate other people, but I like looking at a body of work by anybody because it gives you inspiration as well. And it's a great way to discover places that you want to go photograph, because I'm sure there's places in that book that I've not been. And, I'll see a shot that you have and say, well, that's a trip I've got to plan at some point, right? And it's great inspiration to see how other people photograph places that
Oh,
you've been before as well. Like
yeah.
you say, well, I would never have thought of getting that shot there at that time, or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah. So even books that's not even related to Newfoundland, just seeing other people, what they do and stuff gives you, like you said,
Yeah,
inspiration and stuff as well.
no,
So
absolutely.
just back to the West Coast, I think that's the last thing we can talk about, like an itinerary for the fall trip. And that would be the actual Humber Valley. That place is amazing because over there
Yeah,
you get birch trees, which is golden, and then you get the maple trees, which is the kind of ridge. And then you get a nice sunset or sunrise. You get the light shining through it. It's beautiful.
yeah. And there's always especially in the fall, there always seems to be like a mist or a fog or something that adds that extra layer of character, to
Yeah.
that area.
And if you go up to the golf course that's there, I got a picture on the itinerary as well. They call it the Eagle's Nest. And you go up there and you take a picture down over the golf course with the sun shining up through the valley, like for sunset. That's a pretty cool spot too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we got a nice green
magical,
grass, and then you got all the trim of the golden trees around the green grass. It's a beautiful spot too.
beautiful contrast. Yeah, yeah.
Which
West
is
Coast
so
is. I get excited every time I go over there because it's not like my backyard. It's not like I love going down the bottom Vista Peninsula. Don't get me wrong, but that's my backyard, and I'm down there almost once a week. I'm down exploring down there. But you get over to the West Coast, which is like more of a once, maybe twice a year thing for me.
yeah.
And it's every time I go over there, I get really excited.
Yeah, like I said many times, but we are really fortunate to live in a place with so many places to photograph. It's like a photographer's
Yeah,
paradise. So I always did that. And always, like, I have been quite a few places around taking pictures. And when it comes to Newfoundland, especially like in the spring with the icebergs, summer, and it's just, yeah, I'm looking forward
yeah,
to it. And again, I know I
yeah,
said it before, but my favorite is you get me in the morning, like early morning, and you get the light coming up with the sunshine, and you get to smell the salt water.
yeah.
It's just magic. I don't even have to take a picture. I could just,
No,
if I could bottle that up and sell it, man, we'd
yeah.
be rich, I'd say.
Well, I know, man. It's so like my favorite thing on tours now is and I've only just started doing it in the last year or so, but getting up early in the morning sunrise and going into the puffin colony and
Yeah.
just sitting out there on the colony. And same thing, the sun's coming up, you got the smell and the sound of the birds, and just, you can almost leave your camera back in the car and just go in there, sit on the grass,
Yeah.
absorb it all.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I can't wait. Like I literally, I'm excited. Like I get worked up, excited about
Yeah.
getting back out there and enjoying that.
It's funny because we go out there and then after everyone's there taking their pictures and everyone's all comfortable doing their thing, sometimes I lie back on the grass and just kind of close my eyes and just, oh man, it's amazing. It's
It's
better
great
than any
because,
yoga or anything you can do.
we often get on our tours, we get husband and wife combinations come in, and normally like one of them's a photographer and one of them's not. So, I always laugh, the husband becomes the Sherpa for the wife. But how many times have we gone out and, going back to the puffin colony, because that's where we probably spend our most time, or in this area. And you look over and you see like the husband or the wife, whoever's not the photographer, just sitting on a rock, listening out, just absolutely enjoying the moment, and how, fortunate we are to have that. And I think that's something, I know we've mentioned this before in podcasts. As photographers, we can become so wrapped up in getting the shot that sometimes we lose sight of the bigger picture, and that whole aura of being there. And sometimes it's nice to be not a photographer that's just going to appreciate the whole thing. So I always tell people, take a moment, put your camera down, appreciate where you are, like exist in that moment, then pick your camera back up again and get the shots that you want. Really try to ground yourself in that moment where you are.
Absolutely. And that's when you get the better pictures as well, when you actually put yourself in the moment, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Cool. All right, then. So we chatted now for quite a bit here today. So I guess we'll end it for this session. Do you have any, do you want to mention where they can find us, Corey?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, one thing I did want to mention, we were going to spend half of the podcast talking about places to eat, but we're going to probably put that out for another podcast. We talked about some buns and rolls. That's as far as we got when it came to something to eat. So we'll probably talk about that a little bit on our next podcast. But in the meantime, yeah, you can find us anywhere where your favorite podcasts are, either on Spotify or Apple Play Podcast. The video will be posted up on YouTube as well. Myself and Michael will both share the link to the podcast on our socials as well. But you find us on Audible or anywhere where there's a podcast. Search for the Newfoundland Lens and you'll find us. We've got a nice little library going there now. I think we're probably in the mid-teens now on our podcast count. So, you could certainly while away a little bit as you drive, listening to two old Newfoundlanders chat about stuff. And you'd be more than happy to have you drop by and have a listen.
Cool. Thanks a lot there, Corey. And of course, we didn't talk about the food and stuff, but we'll grab that on another podcast. It's just that when we get together, we're just so excited about the things we can photograph and just get carried away with the time. But again, like I said, thanks for joining us. And as we always say here on the podcast, is keep your eyes on the horizon and your heart in Newfoundland. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.